When my mother was pregnant with me, my father promised to build a shelf in my nursery room to house all the keepsakes and memorabilia I would create as a growing human being. For instance, locks of hair for my first haircut, my baby teeth when they fell out, my first fingernail clippings, the bracelet that was put on me right after I was born, and my first pair of shoes. It seems like everything parents keep of their young children is some form of refuse or garbage, but I suppose the sentimental value can't be discounted. The shelf was supposed to have space across the top and bottom to act as a photo album, along with a ruler running down one side to track my height. Sounds like a pretty good idea, right? Cute even. At least, that's what my father thought. He conceived of this idea when I was barely the size of a peanut, which would place my mother somewhere between 2 and 3 months of pregnancy, roughly. The shelf ended up being built after I'd already lost my first tooth, which would place me at roughly 7 years old. His grand shelf had a turnaround time of almost 8 years, and it can probably be assumed that he wasn't off searching the world for the perfect tree to harvest wood from. It's also rather unlikely that he had changed his mind and wanted to wait for me to grow up so we could share the experience of building something together, though it's an excuse that sounds as good as any. He just procrastinated and never quite got around to it. It always remained on his to-do list, but other tasks seemed to take precedence over it or have greater urgency. I later asked him how he allowed this to happen, and he said that it simply seemed like too big of a task and that everything else seemed easier to complete, so he would just perform those tasks first. Cleaning the gutters, cooking a pie. He might not have enjoyed any of those tasks, but at least they were relatively small and had a definite ending time, and he knew exactly where he could start.